Or it could literally be something that Philip K. Dick wrote in 2 weeks while on amphetamines in the 70s. Hello, welcome to I Read This Book with Chris. This is Chris. This is the book. Today we have Stars Uncharted by S.K. Dunstall. While discussing Stars Uncharted, I have a Jack Rose. Stars Uncharted by S.K. Dunstall. I never heard of S.K. Dunstall before I saw this book. I picked it up because some of the stuff on it. On the space jump, no one is who they seem. And then at the bottom of the front it says, in the tradition of the expanse and the long wait to a small angry planet. Both of which are very, very modern space operas. This came out in 2018. S.K. Dunstall is a pseudonym for two sisters, Sherilyn and Karen Dunstall. So they are an author duo working out of Australia. Haven't heard of them before. This book came out in 2018. The second one came out in 2020. And then they had previously written the Linesman trilogy, Linesman novels, called Linesman, Alliance, and Confluence, which I've never heard of. However, I will pick up more of these if I stumble across them. I want to pick up the second one to finish it. Stars Uncharted it's a space opera, so it's set up in a big, wide world of space where we see only a small bit. Space is set up, there's the legal zone, where a lot of stuff goes on. It's where most people live. And then they have areas outside of that, which are not colonized, that people don't live in. So they have the legal zone, that's where generally things happen. That's where the story, most people live and die and do commerce and all that stuff. And then there's outside of that, basically adventurers go. In the story, we follow two characters, Nikki Rick Terry and Josun Ariola. Nikki Rick Terry is a body modder. So there are machines that basically can 3D print your body. And you can go in there, and so if you've broken a bone, they can set the bone. If you have cancer, they can remove that. All this sort of medical stuff, basically, most everything is solved. But they can do more than that. They can give you muscle, take away muscle, change the color of your skin, of your hair, all sorts of crazy things. They can change your gender, and it can go down and can change your DNA. And she's one of the best in the world. However, she realizes she needs to run away. She had an abusive boyfriend who worked for a company. There are 27 big companies that basically control all of the legal zone, because there are a bunch of planets, but all the planets may have one or more different governments, but their control doesn't go outside of that planet, and there's lots of planets. These companies go everywhere. And so she had an abusive boyfriend, and in order to get away from him and get him actually sent away off planet, she then worked with a company, and now she's got one of their guys, one of their killers, to come after who wants to kill her. And so she runs away from this company, trying to save her own life from these not very nice people. While running away, she takes Snowshoe Bertram, who is another body modifier, with her because she accidentally gets his studio. He also is in a similar situation where people are coming in extorting him, and he they don't treat the guy very nice, and they both run away. So we jump between her story and then the story of Josun Ariola, she is a member of the Hassim. They are an exploratory ship who are seeking after the Mother Lode. They are a very well-known ship because they have gone and found many planets. So these exploratory ships go out into space where other people have not gone, and they try to find planets that have mineral loads that other people don't have, or special biology, which they can then go and either get eaten or use for medicine of some sort, or have some other interesting qualities, or perhaps just another planet that people can colonize. This is what the exploration teams do. But the Hassim is one of the most famous ones because they are going and they're seeking after the Mother Lode. There's a certain mineral which is necessary for a lot of modifications for the body modders that they use, and it can be found in lots of places in very small amounts, and it's very expensive. But there's this one guy has found the mother lode. This was like 80 years ago, and so they are searching after that, and she's on a mission from away from the ship to find this one guy who apparently has the answers. And this is how the book opens. Don't want to go a whole lot into it because it'll ruin stuff a little bit. I am not someone who generally likes thriller. Most of the books that I like, you can read and you know what's going to happen, and it's still an enjoyable book. Most of the books I read are not worth rereading, but they're just a fun little thing, and you probably can figure out the sort of thing that's going to happen. This is in the thriller genre, if that's right. People are getting chased, action, adventure, thriller stuff. I don't know what a thriller is versus a mystery. There's no mystery to be solved, but there are mysteries. I don't exactly know how those genres are differ. Why do I like this book? Why do I suggest that you pick this up if you find it? It is a good story, and I think it does world building very well. What do I mean? There are certain books which want to build the world and build out the world so have all of the possible questions that you could have answered, right? So for this, I am thinking of Dune. Dune has a brilliant first section of the book, and the ending of Dune is brilliant. And in the middle third, a big section of the center of that book. It's just world building, world building, world building, world building. It just tells you so much about it, where the story stalls, dies, basically. Same reason I can't really get into The Lord of the Rings. I like The Hobbit. The Hobbit, I think, does it well, where you go through and you see these things and you hear about these things, and you only learn about the world where you need to know about the world to know what's going on in the story. And the things beyond that, you don't learn about because it's not necessary. It focuses on the story. I think a novel should be about the story. You're following a character or a group of characters or a couple of people around. What happens? World building, if you want to have a world built, be a dungeon master. Play Dungeons and Dragons. If you are not going to do that, only give us as much as you need. If someone is in a fight and they are racing down a hallway in a space station, you don't need to explain what all the doors do. You don't need to give us the backstory of the guy working in one of the offices. We're running fast. We get just enough information to let we know they're running straight. They see this thing in front of them, they have to jump over. The lights are flickering. Their shots are shot over their head. But then, if they go and they sit somewhere for a while, and they're in the spaceship, and you're letting time build while they're in the spaceship as they're trying to figure out what to do next, then you can go and explain the spaceship. You can explain why they're in the situation they're in and the geopolitical stuff. Because things are slow. And things can be slow. And then when action happens, you go through it. I think the amount of world building in this is brilliant. And let's see. On the opposite end of that whole Lord of the Rings, where there's literally nerds who read, there's an extra book, just of all of his extra notes, and the nerds love reading it, the Silmarillion. At the opposite end of that is my Stainless Steel Rat series. Things happen very quickly. Things are introduced, action happens, things end. You don't know a whole lot about the world, and it's just action, 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 action. This is right in the middle between those two, between action, 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 snap, 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 snap. Things are constantly happening. You don't really learn about the world a whole lot. You don't know a whole lot about what's going on there. And then you need to read an encyclopedia before you read this book. Or this book just has encyclopedia parts thrown in there. Like, it's well done. I also appreciate it because you can tell it's a modern book. It's a modern story. But that's not all that it is. A lot of modern science fiction has all these politically correct things in there. The person is not trying to tell you a story. The person is trying to either tell you they know the right things or tell you these are the right things that you need to believe. And it goes to the point where it's propaganda. This is modern. It has that stuff in there. The fact that you can go to a body modifier and you can have your gender changed. Brought up multiple times throughout the book, but subtly, because this isn't a book about anyone changing their gender. It's a book about a world where one of the characters is a body modifier, someone who can just change you. You go in a machine and you come out 2 days later and you look completely different. Where that it is possible to change gender. Therefore, it's going to come up. But it's going to come up from the side, not be forced in your face. There are a lot of books, novels, that I can't get into because they're trying to be something instead of just being it. This is why I stay away from the literary fiction section of a used bookstore. The reason I read genre fiction. Genre fiction is not supposed to tell you, look how great I am, look at all these words I know how to throw together. That's what literary fiction is. Here's a story told with beautiful words. Look at the way I'm using all these different things. Look at all the symbolism. Like, here's all the crap you learned in English class in 8th grade. Here's allegory and blah, 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 all these other big words. And they're trying hard, and generally, it's a story that nothing really, a whole lot happens, or sometimes a lot happens. And it's just being in someone's head, looking at the big words the author knew how to write. That's literary fiction. Science fiction just tells you a story. And it might be written well, it might be written extremely poorly. Someone might have spent years working on this masterpiece. Or it could literally be something that Philip K. Dick wrote in 2 weeks while on amphetamines in the 70s. You don't know. It just is. This is the story, this is the world, let's go for it. And that's what this does. It's not stuck being woke. It's not stuck trying to tell a great story. It just tells a story. This is the story. These are the people. It's a space opera, kind of, because it's this big thing. They're jumping all over the universe, and there's people after them. But, I mean, what really happens is people are running away from other people who are trying to capture them. That's basically most of what happens in here. I mean, other things do happen, which I'm not going to talk about, but like it's just, this is a simple story. This is what happens. Thanks for watching.